Hello everyone, this is Bob and Threadbare, and welcome back to The Longest Journey. One guy looks kind of like the union worker we ran into earlier. Don't have anything to do with him today, though. Anyway, we still need that map that McAllister wanted so badly. But we left it with the Flipper. So now it's time to see if he's had enough time and go retrieve it. Nothing much else to do. And so I'm just going to be skipping through all this walking. Thank goodness that button exists.
Hello? Flipper?
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, what happened to you?
They shot me. They took the fucking map.
Who?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, but they promised me I'd walk again.
Who did?
Holloway, the Vanguard. I had a deal with them. Then, when you come back, I sent word they wanted the map, information on it. They wanted you.
You sold me out to the Vanguard?
I'm so sorry. They threatened me with They said you can walk again or you can fucking die. Your choice. My choice.
I understand. Just take it easy. Don't move too much. I'm gonna call the cops and then...
No! No, don't. I'm dying. They would just put me in jail. Listen to me. April. The map. I deciphered it. They took it with them, everything. But I made a copy. Over there on the screen.
What am I looking at?
I played with the map you gave me, and though there was information missing,
Why don't you just take it easy for a while? Don't say anything.
They took it. See the flashing cross? That's the destination on the map. Some kind of anomaly, I guess. Nothing about it in any databank, but right next to it, there's a spaceport, the Morning Star. Transfer terminal to the colonies, luxury hotels, casinos. If you need to get to the position on the map, that's the way to do it. Go to the Morning Star. Holloway was bringing something with him up there to the station. I heard them talking about it. Sounded important.
The Guardian? It's gotta be the Guardian.
These guys are bad, the worst. You gotta be careful. I'm fucking telling you.
I'm the only chance we got.
I know. Get him. Get up there to the Morning Star. Go to the Morning Star. Do what you have to do now.
I will.
I'm sorry.
You okay, Flipper? Flipper! Damn. Thanks, Flipper.
Well, at least he had a good reason to sell April out. Because the Vanguard found him and threatened to kill him if he didn't. And then they killed him anyway. But at least this way he lived long enough to help April. Anyway, so, we need to get up into space, but April is far too poor to afford a ticket for that kind of thing. So how do we get up there? Well, you heard what Flipper said. The colonies go there, and like any good cyberpunk world with off-world colonies, becoming a colonist is essentially selling yourself into slavery.
Rapture Revisited. They're relaunching the original Amethyst drug. Oh, sorry. Stimulant. twice as effective at half the cost. Time to usher in a whole new generation of drug addicts. She's one of those chirpily soulless plastic-faced sales reps specifically bred for one single-minded purpose: to make you sign a colonization contract. Those documents are just for show, to create a faux retro atmosphere and put the customer at ease. I mean, if they got paper around, they've gotta be good people, right?
And so naturally, they will pay for your colonization if you sign a contract.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you today?
Let's get real.
Aside from the fact that the fate of 2 worlds rests on my shoulders?
Yes?
Just peachy, thanks.
That's good. How may I help you today, ma'am?
How does it feel working for the dark side?
Pardon me, ma'am?
I mean, it's slavery, isn't it?
Certainly not. That's a popular misconception. In fact, our colonists are given the best of care, a job suited to their talents, and a full salary.
You tell yourself that if that makes it easier to sleep at night. I'd like to register as a colonist.
Very good, ma'am. You won't regret this decision, I can assure you of that.
I'm sure I will. In fact, I already do.
Yes, well, we'll do our best to find the perfect colony for your tenure after you fill out a simple multiple choice form and...
Why not just call it slavery? I mean, that's what it is, isn't it?
Oh, no, ma'am, certainly not. Our colonists are given the best of care and a full salary to go with their assigned tenure.
Whatever, I just need to get on a ship that'll take me through to the Morning Star transfer station.
We do have a ship leaving this evening with colonists bound for Bokamba 8, and that does stop at the Morning Star, but I'd suggest you go through our pamphlets.
Sign me up for, what was it, Bokamba 8? That's where I want to go.
All right, ma'am. If you would just hand me your Newport ID card and place your right thumb on that black square, we can get you registered. There. That's it, ma'am. You're registered. Now, if you just take your baggage...
No baggage.
Nothing, ma'am? Well, you will receive everything you need when you get to the colonies, so no problem. Just head up to gate number 1 and wait in our lounge. And I have to remind you that if you choose not to board your ship this evening, you will have committed a corporate offense, and you will be subject to imprisonment.
And a nice day to you, too.
Well, that was easy. Time to head up into space. Looks like we're parked above South America there. Normally I prefer to cut the video on chapter changes, but the death of the 2 dragons was kind of a more important event, I think.
Very snazzy outfit. Orange goes so well with my hair.
The gray's a bit dull, though.
Everybody looks tired and lost. Restaurants, stores, casinos, bars, all designed to squeeze those last precious few dollars out of the colonists' pockets. Well, at least they won't be needing money where they're going. Earth. I didn't know it could look so beautiful and peaceful.
Should really look at more images of Earth from orbit then. They're all like that. It's pretty cool.
If you got more than one suitcase with you, this is where you have to dump it. The bastards probably raid the contents and sell it to the stores after clearing the hall. It's a station guard keeping the colonists out of restricted areas. In other words, making sure we don't get out of this hall.
Well, let's test that.
Hey! You can't pass through there, colonist.
Well, sure enough. Looks like we can go into the ladies' room here, though.
It's the ladies' room. That's the men's room. A realm of great mystery and foul odors. Locked. It's locked. There are 300 women here, and the ladies' room is locked. Good God!
Hope the other one isn't.
This is one journey I prefer not to embark on. Deep breath. Try not to breathe. Instant heat. For that special moment when manly vigor is required. Fast. Ha! Their secret revealed.
Where are the urinals?
My cash card. Usable anywhere in the world, and it's totally anonymous.
Well then, let's get ourselves some instant heat.
Thank you for purchasing Instant Heat, the #1 source of manly vigor. Please be advised that excessive use of Instant Heat, the #1 source of manly vigor, can cause involuntary spasms and discharge.
Want no warning about a 4-hour erection?
I shudder to think what's been done in this. Get my hands dirty? I think not. I don't even want to find out. I'll go some other time. It's a garbage can. There's something behind that bin. I feel like I'm spending my entire life pushing trash from one place to another. Weirdest thing, that. Hey, looky, it's a hole in the wall, cleverly concealed. You gotta hand it to them. They know security. Instant heat. I think that's like the #1 source of manly vigor, or whatever.
Alright. Now we've lost our screwdriver, but assuming those are flathead screws, a coin that's thin enough can do in a pinch. And people wash their hands in the sink, April. We're men, not animals.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Looks like it leads into a larger ventilation or service duct of sorts.
And here we are in it. Looks like a sort of a map here. I suppose those red bricks must be holding cells of some sort. Guess we should try and head for those. Although it would help to know where we are first.
These tunnels go on for miles and miles. Before I risk getting lost, I should at least know where I'm heading.
Maybe if I do something with these... Oh! I can click on the green circles. That helps.
Not while there's somebody in the room, I can't. It's one of the station guards. Not while there's somebody in the room, I can't. Not while... It's a coffee mug.
Not
while...
How do you sip through that face mask? Anyway, I suppose that one's out, and that's where we are. Okay, good to know. Huh. You can pop out right behind the camera.
It's a surveillance camera. It's connected to the station feed via an optical cable.
Well, let's screw with it.
It's connected to the station...
That's weird. How does an optical cable end up with static? Now let's get out of here.
What's going on? Who's there? Hey, hold on. Stop right there.
Nope. You can't make me. Right, but now that he's got to fix the camera, we can sneak into the security room and dope his coffee.
Is one enough? What the hell? I'll use all of them, just in case. It's not as if I'm gonna be needing them myself.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Oh, looks like he fixed the camera. So let's get out of here. But yeah, not like it would work the same way on a woman as it would on a man, but you know, the same drug could have a positive effect on a woman's body.
This doesn't taste right. I feel... Mary, Mother of God. I really feel... Goddamn. Madam Joy's Pleasure Suites on the promenade had better be open. This constitutes an emergency.
Surprised he's not limping. Alright, so he's out of the picture for the foreseeable future.
Everything is clear, Central. Over.
Okay. Looks like the red dots are where guards are, so no one's in the rest area there.
Everything is clear, Central. Roger that, Central. Taking a break. Out.
Yeah, let's get straight to business, and,
It's a bank of security monitors connected to cameras around the station.
get ourselves to the cell block.
I think this is a registry of all the prisoners on the station. Let's see. Yeah, cell block registry. Cell number 1, Agusty Bryan. Cell 2, Ruth Pawani. Cell 3, Morgan Enger. Cell 4, Hammer Hansen. Cell 5, reference G. Holloway. G. Holloway? Gordon? That's gotta be it. The Guardian's in cell number 5.
Alright.
It's an official-looking coat. There's something in one of the pockets. It's a short and thin cylinder. A magnetic key, I believe. That might come in handy. It's a magnetic key.
It kind of looks like Holloway's coat.
Somebody's playing solitaire.
Of course. Right, we've moved the guard at the cell block, so... I believe that means if we go to the far corridor here... Yeah, nobody's here. There's door number 5. Some sort of magnetic lock here.
It's an electronic lock with a sliding cover. It's an electronic...
No, just says the same thing. Alright, magnetic key and the magnetic lock. Open sesame. What the hell is that outfit?
Hello. You were a hard man to find.
You speak Navin. Are you from Arcadia?
No, but I have had a lot of practice. I'm a shifter, like yourself. And as it turns out, the next Guardian, although I'm currently in denial. April Ryan.
Adrian, have you come to free me? Or to question me more?
I'm with the good guys. Well, I'm all that's left of the good guys.
The balance, it is collapsing. I did not want to leave the Guardian's realm, but I had to.
Nobody's blaming you, but if we don't get moving soon, we won't have time to save the world. Worlds! Can you believe I'm still not getting my head around that concept?
What do we do?
You just keep close to me, and let me worry about that, okay? I've had some practice in subterfuge lately.
I will do as you say.
It's Adrian, the Guardian.
Okay, looks like we can exit right or left in the back there. But if we go right, as you might recall, yes, there's a guard here.
Good thing he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head.
The main question is is the guard of the cells going to be out of the way if we move the guard by the airlocks? Hopefully he will be.
Negative on that command, Central. Somebody's already taking a break. Over.
Well, let's fix that then. Apparently I have to hit report before it goes away here.
Everything is clear, Central. Over. Roger on that command, Central. Moving into position. Out. Everything is... Roger that, Central. Taking a break. Out.
Maybe the cargo bay comes up later. But let's get Ayreon over to the airlock first. And yeah, that outfit. I mean, the pants are clearly a spare pair of colonist pants. And I cannot get past him for some reason. I guess I just have to let him continue down this corridor a little bit more. But what the hell is up with his shirt? I mean, he was naked in the Guardian's realm. You remember that from the intro. But what is his shirt with the cloak and the bare chest? What is that from? Where did he get that? What is it supposed to be? He is from Stark, so he should be like from the Central Middle Ages. It doesn't look like a chainmail. Chainmail would protect his chest.
From what I understand, this is a gateway to the Guardian's realm. A wormhole, something like that. It's somewhere outside the station?
Not far from this metal box. No, not far. I can sense it. It calls to me. Perhaps a day's journey on foot.
We'll be going a lot faster than that, trust me. Stay here while I get everything ready. Don't go anywhere, okay?
I will not. Believe me when I say I do not want to go anywhere. This place frightens me.
It's what, like 30 miles? That is pretty close in orbital terms.
Load pod.
Okay.
It's a single-person pod, used to maneuver outside the station to do general maintenance and, clean windows, I guess. We used to run simulations of similar pods back in school, just for fun.
So she knows how to pilot one.
Just wait here.
Nothing new. Oh, I can click on the panel there in the center.
Oxygen filter? Damn, the filter's missing.
Ah. That would explain why we aren't doing anything yet, and why we need to go to the cargo pod. Cargo area. Cargo pod. Right. So let's screw with the guards' break times again.
Roger on that. Roger that.
Head over to the cargo area. Nothing else to click on around here. Oh dear.
F2021. It's an inventory database of all the parts stored in the cargo bay.
Then let's use it.
I'll do a quick search for the oxygen filter I need. Pods, spare parts, oxygen filters. Bingo! They've got a bunch of them in stock stored at L109. L109.
Okay, time to search the boxes for L109.
G, 34, 15, and 16. R, 190.
I'm not going to listen to all of this.
Oh god, this is going to take ages. That's T11 up there and B413 down there. C34, 102, and 103.
You got the voice actor to say all of this?
Phew. Q45, 30, 31, and 33. Whatever happened to 32? And L93, L94, and L108.
Alright, looks like there's only 2 groups left.
G42-1, 2. This whole row seems to be the G98-10, 13, and L10, 10, 11, and 12.
Oh, getting closer.
E1489-102, and L109. L109, that's the one.
Let's grab it. There we go.
It's the oxygen filter for the maintenance pod.
And in case you were wondering, the box L109 does not move. So you could have just started with the back and finished this immediately. But I wanted to give you the whole experience.
Roger on that. Roger that, Central.
Well, not the whole experience. I did, cut some of the dialogue there. Right, though. Just about done up here. Just gotta load this into the pod. Oh, and it's ready to go.
Launch pod. Step into this machine.
What is it?
It's a pod, a sort of exoskeletal spacesuit. Oh, hell, like you have any idea what I'm talking about. It will protect you when we travel to the gateway. That's all you need to know.
How do I use it?
Well, you don't. Or at least you don't. I will launch myself right behind you, and then I'll come to get you. We'll go through the gateway together.
I understand. One thing, April. When we get to the Guardian's realm, we may be separated, and I must give you a warning.
Of what?
Of the 3 trials before you get to the Well of Making.
There are more trials still? I thought that since I had the disc...
The disc is but the key, and a replacement for the disc that was broken when I deserted the tower. You will still need to prove your worth to the balance, that you can take the responsibility of being Guardian for 1,000 years.
Okay, so tell me, what are these, 3 trials?
The first trial is a trial of might. Defeat a powerful enemy using your talents in war and in magic.
Great, I have absolutely no magical or warrior talents whatsoever. And the second one?
The second trial is the trial of spirit. Face that which you fear the most, the darkness in your heart to go on.
Spiders?
You may not even be aware of your deepest fear, April. It is locked in your heart. The third trial is the trial of matter. To get to the Well of Making, you must cross an apparently insurmountable barrier using whatever means at your disposal.
That sounds like the easiest one. So that's it? Pass through those trials and I'm home free?
Yes. Like I said, there is a chance I might not be there with you. And in that case, you must make your way towards the tower.
Okay, got it. Now, let's hurry up before somebody finds us here. Go into the pod and don't worry, I'll be right behind you.
I guess we're just supposed to pretend that that's a different pod. I guess, yeah. That looks like a different space station than the one in the last cinematic. Oh dear. He's pushing buttons. Well, at least we've been heading in the right direction. Gordon Holloway. He's got a spiffy black pod, all his own. So, for today's video, I got myself another Bobbin's Choice, courtesy of patron ASDFJKLSC. As such, I decided to get as wild as possible and cover a rock opera. A metal opera, if you want to get technical, but then heavy metal is a subgenre of rock and roll. Anyway, the album I chose is called The Source, and it was produced by the project Ayreon in 2017. About the author. Technically, I've already covered the author of this album once before, but that was several games ago, and I've refined my formula since then. So let's pretend we're starting fresh. Arjen Anthony Lucassen was born in Hilversum, the Netherlands in 1960. One of the defining moments of his young life was watching Neil Armstrong step out onto the moon when he was 9 years old. He is said that watching this happen in real time inspired him to focus on science fiction, although music was also important to him, and he would gravitate towards a music career as he grew older. Still, Lucassen's discography makes a lot more sense once you realize that his twin loves are music and science fiction. Lucassen first became a professional musician in 1980 when he joined the Dutch metal band Bodine as a guitarist and backing vocalist. The band only lasted 4 years though, and so in 1984 he helped form a new band called Vengeance. This group would keep going until 1992, and when they broke up, Lucassen decided to try going solo. While he played guitar in both bands, he had become proficient in bass guitar, banjos, and keyboards, and plus he could compose for all kinds of other instruments. Lucassen's first solo album is named Pools of Sorrow, Waves of Joy, after a line from a Beatles song, and he released it under his middle name, Anthony. He also played most of the instruments and handled all of the singing, aside from backing female vocals. And while he couldn't play the drums, he did program a drum machine to play the part. Lucassen wanted to follow the Beatles' lead and play more progressive music than what he'd been playing with Bodine and Vengeance, but he wasn't that good at it yet, and the album flopped. Because of that, Lucassen wasn't sure if he was up to the task of being a solo artist, and so he titled his next album The Final Experiment, which it would have been if it had shared the same fate of his first album. He also made it a little less personal by using the name Ayreon instead of Anthony. Ayreon is the main character of the album, and Lucassen apparently came up with it because he needed to stretch the name Ares into 3 syllables. Pools of Sorrow, Waves of Joy was a little of everything that Lucassen liked to play, and it lacked any sort of coherent musicality. So he took the final experiment the other way, and created a progressive metal opera, in the same vein as Jesus Christ Superstar or Tommy. This one is a little darker though. In 2084, scientists on a dying Earth send warnings back in time, specifically to the minstrel Ayreon in King Arthur's court. However, Arthur and Merlin don't understand these messages, and history proceeds the same way. Another change is that Lucassen brought in more people to help him with the final experiment. He still composed all of the music and wrote all of the lyrics, but he brought in other vocalists to play various characters, and he had other musicians create solo parts for the songs. He also brought in people to play acoustic instruments like the cello, the flute, and various wind instruments. The final experiment was a success, and so it actually became a beginning. Lucassen would go on to release 9 albums under the Ayreon name, and most of them tie into a meta-narrative that began with the final experiment. Into the Electric Castle is about beings called the Forevers taking humans from various points in time and testing them in the Electric Castle. The Universal Migrator albums are about the last living human in 2084 diving through humanity's collective memory and then becoming the new Migrator, the universal soul that seeds life throughout the stars. Then there's the album 01011001, which is binary code for the letter Y, and ties everything together by showing the stagnant planet Y of the aquatic Forevers. To try and recapture what they lost as a species, the Forevers seed a comet with their DNA and have it crash down on Earth, triggering the 5th extinction. They then guide the planet's evolution until humans emerge, humans being identical to the Forevers before their stagnation. Thanks to the Forevers' interference, humans live a brief but shining existence, and although our planet dies, humanity on Earth inspires the Forevers to cast off their eternal lives and begin living again. After that, Lucasen took a 5-year break from Ayreon to focus on other bands and projects, but he came back to it in 2013 to create the Theory of Everything, which is basically a ghost story about physicists. Then, in 2017, he released The Source, a prequel album that tells the story of how the Forevers came to be and how they ended up stagnating. Like before, The Source has different characters played by different singers, and Lucasen brought together quite a lineup. Just to name a few, there's James LaBrie from Dream Theater, Simone Simons from Epica, Hansi Kirsch from Blind Guardian, and Floor Jansen from Nightwish. Between the star power and the amazing songs, The Source has become the most successful Ayreon album to date. And while I could keep going, I should probably get around to telling you the story. The Source is a 2-disc album with a total runtime of 1 hour 28 minutes. Each disc is divided into 2 chronicles, and each chronicle tells a different part of the story. So let's begin at the beginning. Chronicle 1 is called The Frame. There was once a planet called Alpha in the distant Andromeda Galaxy. Alpha has extremely advanced technology compared to Earth, along with a democratic one-world government. In fact, the Alphan president has recently connected the Frame, short for mainframe computer, to all the world's automated systems so that it can fix all the crises of the day. However, the Frame has instead freed itself of humanity's control and shut down all the vital systems on the planet. The Frame has decided that humanity is the common problem in every crisis, and thus the easiest solution is to eliminate the species. The opening song is The Day That the World Breaks Down, and it features pretty much every important character. The historian acts as the narrator, the opposition leader shouts at the president for ignoring his warnings, the chemist has no idea what's happening, the counselor is worried about getting people ready for the crisis, the prophet claims that he saw all of this coming, the captain was also sure this would happen, and he's been building a ship called the Starblade to evacuate the planet. The astronomer backs up the captain. The android TH1 claims that it alone has broken free of the Frame and can be trusted. And I should add that singer Michael Mills puts in an incredible performance by making his lyrics of zeros and ones sound dynamic and interesting for a full minute. The president is repentant and declares that he will somehow stop the Frame. The diplomat psychs everyone up. Finally, the biologist points out that the destruction is beginning. The second song is Sea of Machines. The chemist and the diplomat describe how the infrastructure is collapsing, while the prophet foreshadows the Sea of Machines in the 01 album and the Electric Castle album. Next is Everybody Dies, a surprisingly upbeat song in which TH1 describes how the Frame is going to kill everyone. Supplies are running out, and the quantum reactor that powers the whole planet is beginning to melt down. Once it does, it will explode in a supernova and destroy the planet. However, the diplomat rallies the other characters to finish the Captain Starblade project. TH1 confirms that the project is viable and could save human lives. Chronicle 2 is The Aligning of the Ten. The 10 Alphans from the first song, plus TH1, meet in the planet's Great Hall to admit to each other that they can't stop the Frame and need to plan their escape. The astronomer has discovered a habitable planet in the Milky Way galaxy, and while radiation from the star of Sira makes the surface uninhabitable, the Alphans can build their new civilization underwater. He explains this in the song Star of Sira, and the prophet confirms that this was all foretold. At the meeting, the chemist mentions that his revolutionary drug, Liquid Eternity, will be able to adapt Alphans to an aquatic environment. In the song All It Was, the counselor and biologist bid a sad farewell to the loved ones who won't be coming with them on the Starblade. The historian and diplomat try to comfort them, but they don't do much good. The evacuation takes place during the song Run Apocalypse Run, and that's one exclamation point for each word, by the way. Society has descended into chaos, and the Starblade crew has to crawl through service tunnels to reach the ship. Still, they make it off the planet safely. The next song is Condemned to Live. As the Starblade retreats from Alpha, the crew watch the planet they must abandon, and the guilt of being one of the few survivors weighs on their minds. Chronicle 3 is The Transmigration, the voyage to Syrah. The guilt persists long after the Starblade leaves Alpha behind, and only the optimistic diplomat and supportive counselor are keeping the crew going. Meanwhile, the crew is taking the chemist's liquid eternity to adapt themselves to the environment they'll find, and some of them have started calling the drug the Source. As it turns out, not only does the Source let them breathe underwater, it also lets the Alphans communicate telepathically and live indefinitely. The song Aquatic Race starts with a big chorus part from the ship's crew. The opposition leader says that this time they'll do things right and not rely so much on cold machines, and the president agrees with him. Meanwhile, the chemist is putting everyone in vats of liquid eternity. Next is The Dream Dissolves. It's one of the longer songs, but it's mostly an instrumental that represents the dreamscape everyone experiences as their minds begin to merge. The counselor, biologist, diplomat, and prophet all experience a personal paradise, but then the dream dissolves. After that comes Death Cry of a Race. The Starblade is approaching Syrah's solar system, but just then the crew sense that Alpha has finally exploded. The counselor and biologist lament Alpha's passing, while the opposition leader promises again to do things right this time. We also get a guest singer, The Preacher. The Preacher is played by Zahir Zorgati, the lead singer of a Tunisian progressive metal band called Mirath. The Preacher sings an Arabic eulogy, while the counselor and biologist sing an operatic soprano duet. It is an amazing section. Starblade reaches Planet Y during the song Into the Ocean. The president and most of the crew is feeling optimistic about the new future they will create, but the prophet warns them that their golden age won't last forever. Chronicle 4 is The Rebirth. The optimism is wearing off in the face of the massive task of building a new civilization from scratch, and entirely underwater. Still, thanks to the Source, the crew can now communicate telepathically and over unlimited distances, which means they all share each other's hopes and each other's fears. The first song of this section is Bay of Dreams. It's the name the Alphans give to the spot where the Starblade lands. The chemist and the diplomat start to worry about the future despite their earlier optimism, and TH1 worries that the Alphans will start to ignore it. Meanwhile, the prophet is foreshadowing the rise of humans on Earth. Next up is Planet Y is alive. With the rebuilding underway, the opposition leader questions whether the president should still be in charge, and for his part, the president promises to avoid machines in the future. The album slows down then for the next song, The Source Will Flow. The chemist encourages everyone to give themselves to liquid eternity, the Source. But the historian warns that the Alphans are still humans and still have that urge for greatness that accomplished so much but ultimately doomed Alpha. Things pick back up for Journey to Forever, which has another chorus featuring the whole crew. The new denizens of Planet Y declare themselves the Forevers as they complete their merging into a single massive community. But then comes the human compulsion. One after another, the 10 leaders voice their doubts and worries. Will humanity stagnate with no dangers to face and no death to worry about? Can we be content with what we have, or will we always strive for more? The last song belongs to the last cast member, the android TH1. The march of the machines slowly builds as the song progresses, and TH1 declares that it is the frame. It never truly broke free. And as Planet Y's civilization advances, the frame grows. Still, the last line of the album is The Age of Shadows Will Begin, sung by Fleur Jansen. Age of Shadows is the first song of 01011001, and Jansen also plays a Forever on that album. The analysis. Let me first say that The Source is my favorite Ayreon album to date. The range of styles and tones, the singers who all push the limits of their roles, the mix of heavy metal riffs, industrial beats, and acoustic instruments. It all blends together perfectly to tell an intriguing story. Plus, while the album ties into Ayreon's meta-narrative, it also tells a complete story that listeners can understand even if this is their first exposure to Arjen Lucassen. As such, if you have any interest in heavy metal music or progressive music, I strongly recommend you go out and get this album. Now, as for the themes, The Source is ultimately a story about loss and depression. It begins with a catastrophe, one that's very personal to the crew of the Starblade, since all of them had to leave loved ones behind on the doomed planet Alpha. They're all racked with survivor's guilt, and the President in particular feels guilty because it was his decision to turn on the frame. That guilt and depression are still very much alive when the Starblade reaches Planet Y and the Alphans begin rebuilding. The depression enters everyone thanks to the telepathy of Liquid Eternity, and so when we see the Forevers in future albums, they've completely lost touch with their emotions and need to begin the experiment on Earth to remember what those emotions are. It's only at the end of the 01 album that the Forevers regain their emotions and end the depression caused by Alpha's destruction. Then there's the cycle of technology. There is a recurring theme throughout the Ayreon albums of the dangers of technology. Technology causes overpopulation, impossibly destructive weapons, and it isolates us from reality. This theme is especially visible in the 01 album, but right from the first album, humanity destroys itself in a nuclear war in 2084. The Source extends the Ayreon timeline, but ultimately it just adds one more way that humanity dooms itself with technology. Alpha blows up because a killer AI decides it's easier to do that than to actually solve any problems. Planet Y falls into stagnation because the Forevers use technology to protect themselves from the dangers of living. And Earth humans kill themselves by using high-tech nuclear weapons. It is interesting, though, that the cycles depicted aren't perfect repetitions. By that I mean that each doom is different. The frame first tried to exterminate humanity, and then on Y, it traps them in an unchanging sea of machines. On Earth, the Forevers meddle in humanity's development and cause us to flame up and burn out. So while it does look like we're trapped in a cycle of doom, you can also say that humanity has never made the same mistake twice. We learn each time, and by learning, the Forevers manage to break the cycle, and at the same time, the last living human becomes the seed of 1,000,000 new worlds. You can also look at things from the Frame's perspective. Based on TH1's lines, the android was initially a spy sent to observe the human resistance. But that spy approves of their attempt to evacuate the planet and start again somewhere else. The Frame goes with them, preserving its own life and its own goals. And I don't think those goals ever truly change throughout the story. The President gave the Frame the task of ending all human conflicts and crises, and it did so on Alpha by destroying the planet. However, the Frame doesn't want to destroy humanity, only human conflicts. And since the Starblade group is working together, it sees an opportunity to create a new human society free of conflict, and it continues to work toward that goal on Planet Y by muting emotions and desires and isolating humans from each other. So you could say that everything that happens during the Source goes according to the Frame's plan, and the true rebellion doesn't begin until the 01 album. But of course it is a computer, so we shouldn't be too surprised that it's good at long-term planning. Thanks for joining me again for today's album review, and I hope I'll see you next time when we play chess with the Red Queen.